Hello and welcome to the Winging It Travel Podcast YouTube channel. Join me on my journey as I travel across the world, seeking out adventures, meeting new people and trying out new things. Hello and welcome to this week's episode. We are still in Italy as I thought I would complete that portion of our Interrail trip, and we're carrying on from the amazing Alps train from Switzerland into Tirano, then across by train to Verona. And at the end, there's an extra Verona day. We had a day trip there from Venice, so we thought we'd go back as it was only an hour away. Let's get stuck in. We first went for coffee at Marghi Bar. You can't miss this place. It's right outside the train station and it's €1.20 for coffees. This was a welcome change. It almost felt like a scene out of a ski place really, because we had people in coats sitting outside in the sunshine with their sunglasses enjoying some food and a coffee. So this place is great if you just need a snack or coffee before moving on from Tirano. We were still too early for check-in, so we went across the road to Marizzi on the corner. It's 1 minute walk away, and they are a restaurant in the evening and also do breakfast, but they also have a little coffee bar at the back. So we sat in there in a comfy chair with our bags and wait to check in. Afterwards, we did check in to the Bonina Express Eco Rooms and Restaurant. Had an amazing view. This was €195 for 2 nights and a bit of luxury for us because it was Emma's birthday, so we thought we'd treat ourselves, and it includes breakfast with the room. It was approaching late afternoon at this point, so we had a little walk around and then went for pre-dinner snacks and wine at Cafe Novecento. Italy will have this interesting timings with dinner. People go out late, but you can get some aperitivo stuff and snacks pretty early on. So we had a couple of wines and an amazing snack board for very little price. And it was a great warm-up for our next stop, which was Paravicini restaurant, and I booked this months in advance for Emma's birthday. I wasn't sure whether it's going to be sold out or not, but fear not, it wasn't. But we arrived and it's like down this little street by the river, and the dinner was sensational. The vibe was even better, the price not so much, but it's well worth it for Emma's birthday. As I said previously, the room comes with a breakfast, so we're out early for breakfast at Marizzi Bar. That's where they hold it. It's all you can eat, and you just pick what you want. It's a classic continental breakfast, pastries, cheese, meats, all that sort of stuff. Then we walked to the Old Town to look at some historical buildings and marvel at the stunning views of the Alps all around. You can just wander and get lost really because it's not that big. Lots of medieval clocks and churches. There's a river that goes through the middle, a couple of bridges. There's a couple of cafes there with views of the Alps when you sit outside. So we found one, very, very cheap. And it's local, I think, as well, which made it even better. And we walked along the river back into town. Had lunch at a local restaurant called Del Angolo, and they're doing €6 lunches of pasta. Can't beat that for sure. And the rest of the day was more coffees, more views, and enjoying the room before we move on the next day to Venice. And because this was a bit of a treat, I don't think we're going to be paying much more money for rooms after this. We thought we'd better enjoy it, and Emma wasn't too well either, so I think she was suffering a little bit from maybe fatigue or cold as well, so we chilled out for the rest of the night. Initially we wanted to travel from Tirano to Venice, but we realised with time that's not actually going to be very doable with the trains and the connections, so we're going to stop off in Verona, and what a choice this was. So Verona was a replacement bus to start, and then we made our way via train via Milan to Verona. First off, before we checked in, there was a coffee downstairs at a cafe. Now, this picture will show you my appreciation for James Richardson. If you know, you know. And the coffee was, again, just so good and so cheap. Accommodation is Giardino Giugusti House and Court. I've actually got no content of this, but awesome location and very, very comfortable. So I went off on my own to walk around Verona with no real aim. But I did visit the Piazza della Erba, which is quite a popular place to go. Lots of statues, shops, cafes, great vibe. The weather was sunny, and very mild, so this made it even better. Then I went on to more of the Via Capello road. I kind of walked past Juliet's house, but I was saving that for Emma because it doesn't really mean much to me, but she wants to see that in the morning. So that is your street if you want to go and see that, Via Capello. Then I saw the Torre de Lamberti, which is another historical attraction too, and had a little drink on one of the many cafes and bars on this street. I don't know the name of this one, but you can find so many here in happy hour. Get yourself a nice little beer and a free snack with it and enjoy yourself. Next morning was Juliet's house. Now, I think a balcony means something there. I am the wrong person to ask about this and to even appreciate it. But we went there, free. You can pay to go in the house as well. That's a tourist attraction. But we just saw that, saw the statue of the lady and took some photos. For the rest of the morning, we wandered around Verona, checking out all the sites that I had just seen the evening before. So all the piazzas, statues and squares and town halls and clocks, everything you can imagine. I must admit, in this weather, it's such a pleasant walk amongst the historic streets of Verona. Loved it, and I couldn't wait to visit again in a few days' time. Then we walked all the way to the train station to catch our train to Venice. As I said at the start of the episode, we wanted to go back to Verona because Emma was slightly ill, so we planned a day trip whilst in Venice to go to Verona. So instead of having 4 days in Venice, we had 3, and had an extra day out in Verona, which is just over an hour away on the train. Booked tickets in advance, very easy to do. So off we go, and we're going to see the Verona Arena was on our list, but you have to book tickets for this as well. So we weren't sure what time to pick, so we picked early afternoon. So we booked that online, very cheap, and then went to have an American style, Canadian style brunch at Elk Bakery just over the water there. And straight after that, we went to go and visit Verona Arena. This is built in 30 AD, has now about 22,000 capacity. Back in the day, it was 30,000 capacity. It was built outside of the Verona city walls originally. The 1117 earthquake caused a bit of damage in Verona, so I think some stones were used from the amphitheatre to rebuild the city. And this also predates the Colosseum in Rome and is said to be the original design of that type of amphitheatre. Historic, loved it, great views, and you can see in the amphitheatre they're doing some work to maybe preserve the actual location. I must admit, the vibe of Verona was right up my street. I did not expect anything, so after the Verona Arena, we're just kind of walking the streets, getting a feel for it. Really loved this kind of style of walking around Italian cities, and this was just an underrated city in my opinion, and it was quickly becoming a favourite. We had ice cream and made our way to Castel San Pietro lookout, and you can get a funicular up to the top, and this has amazing views over the whole city. And look at these photos, just stunning. So another funicular ticked off the list, came back down from the viewpoint. Then we walked back to the train station. We reflected on our day in Verona. We both loved it. Would love to go back and explore more. Lots to see and do in every street that you walk down. It's not too busy and not too big, and you get great views from a height at the Pietro lookout. So all in all, love the coffee, love the vibe, love the history. What a place. Please follow and subscribe on my YouTube channel today, and please rate and review the podcast on any podcast platform that you use. Thank you.